What's going on, everybody? You see a Jaguar back with GenJag.com, and as you guys all know, this is the first video I have made since last Sunday when the Jaguars lost in the AFC Championship game. And I've had a lot of people reaching out to me on Twitter and commenting on my YouTube videos, asking me if I'm taking some sort of break from YouTube. And I'm not taking any kind of break from YouTube, dude. I've just been taking a break from just following the NFL and Jaguars in general, man. Like, this loss took a huge toll on me. I hate losing, and just losing in the fashion that we did when we were literally winning the game by 10 points with 10 minutes left, and somehow finding a way to lose when, if we could have held on to the lead, we would have been in the Super Bowl, and we weren't able to. And it would have been so much different. The loss wouldn't, losing in the playoffs, it wouldn't have been as catastrophic for me if, say, we squeaked by the Bills the way we did, and then if we went into Pittsburgh and lost them by 34-7. Then I wouldn't have been as salty or butthurt or whatever you want to say, just because it would have showed that the Jaguars weren't really ready for the stage. But if these playoffs proved anything, it's that we definitely are ready for the stage. And I think that the Jaguars were a top 4 team in the NFL with, they're up there. And if I were to have power rankings, I'd probably say, the Jaguars, Steelers, Patriots, and Eagles, all 4 of those teams are the 4 top teams in the NFL. And, we went and we, played in Pittsburgh. We had Blake Bortles and Ben Roethlisberger basically throwing punch for punch in that game. And, we put up 45 points on the board, beating them 45-2. And then we go into New England, and we were dominating that game pretty much the whole game. We were up 20-10 with 10 minutes left, and we somehow found a way to lose, and it just sucks. Like this whole entire week, dude, I've just been tuning out the NFL and just tuning out Jaguars talk, just trying to get my mind away from it, just because I hate losing, man. And this is by far the toughest loss I've ever had to endure as a sports fan of any team. And the Jaguars, they really proved to be ready for that stage, and we were just so close to going to our very first Super Bowl in franchise history. And I know this is a real, you put a positive spin on this whole thing and just say, hey, you never would have thought that the Jaguars would be in the AFC Championship game. It was such a successful season, and, I definitely agree with you on that. At the beginning of the year, the expectations were very low for this team, and we definitely exceeded them. I mean, at the beginning of the year, if you would have told me we'd be in the AFC Championship game and we were AFC South champions, we won a home playoff game, 2-1 in the playoffs, and I would have been thrilled with that. But, as the season goes on, you kind of change your expectations for this team. All of a sudden we're in the, we beat Pittsburgh, and all of a sudden we're one of the final 4 teams left. And then, once we're in those final 4 teams, it made me realize, we can win the Super Bowl. So I had such high hopes that we'd get to the Super Bowl and win it, but we didn't do it, and it sucks. But it was a really fun year. I mean, we went 10-6 this season. Everybody was writing us off just because of all kinds of different reasons. We're Jacksonville. We have Blake Bortles as our quarterback. You hear all kinds of different things. But the Jaguars, they proved everybody wrong. Our players, it was a really good year this year. And, it was just it was a fun year to be a Jaguar fan. But, once we, and when we entered the playoffs, I was really hoping to just win a playoff game. I didn't have my expectations that high for the Steelers game. And then we went out there and pretty much balled. And, the next week, if you want to look back at the Patriots game, man, there were so many factors that really led us to lose. I mean, it's really hard to really point at one little thing. I mean, but when I look back on it, the overall turning point was that it was 20-10, and there were 10 minutes left in the game. We had the Patriots at a 3rd and 19, and they somehow converted. You know what I mean? That was a huge game changer. You also look at the fact that we were playing super conservative on both offense and defense. We started off the game, we were throwing the ball all around. Blake Bortles was having a really good game. Fournette was running really well. we were doing some really good things on offense. Then, you decide to knee the ball with 55 seconds left in the first half. You decide to try to hang on to a lead, at the end of the game instead of trying to put more points on the board. And you can't do that when you're playing Tom Brady. You got to play like you're losing the game. And if you're, if the passing game and stuff is working throughout the game, keep passing the ball. There's no reason to stop passing. And not only were we conservative on offense, but we're also conservative on defense. We're out there playing like we have the two best lockdown man-on-man coverage cornerbacks in the league with AJ Boye and Jalen Ramsey. And you're going to go out there and run cover 3, cover 4, and play soft zones. Like, I don't know if this is something from Doug Marrone and it's kind of, coming down on Nathaniel Hackett being conservative with his play calling, and then Todd Wash being all conservative on defense, but it was just a terrible game plan at the end. And then you also have the refs, and I don't mind the refs calling all kinds of flags and stuff like that, but let's at least be consistent on both sides of the ball. Like, if you're going to call that pass interference on AJ Boye along the sidelines, then you better call that pass interference on Mercedes Lewis when he basically got hit like a half a second before the ball even touched him. You all said like the Miles Jack fumble recovery. I'm getting pissed off by all these touchdowns getting overturned on defense. There have been so many times this year where our defense has recovered a fumble and has started running into the end zone, and then the refs decide to blow the damn play dead. If you call a fumble on the field, then why are you calling it dead all of a sudden? Let him run in the end zone, then you can review the play and see if it was really a fumble and see if he was down by contact. These idiot-ass refs just, I don't know. I'm not going to get all whole tangent on the refs. And, of course, we didn't lose only because of the refs, but, these refs had to look into this shit, man. I mean, just some of the refereeing around the league this year, and especially involving the Patriots, it's got to change, man. They've got to change. Like, it's got to be something that goes on this offseason with, Roger Goodell. Like, he's got to look himself in the mirror and just say, what can I do to improve this referee game? Because it's only getting worse and worse every year. You know what I mean? Like, and it's got to be taken in a new direction. But I think one thing that really hurt us this game, and it's hurt us all throughout the season, to be honest with you, and that's just not having Allen Robinson, not having a true number 1 wide receiver, just because, you saw at the end of the game, when we were trying to have like some kind of game-winning drive, I mean, there's really just no go-to receiver to go to, and you remember that pass to D.D. Westbrook. If that passes to Allen Robinson's best trait is to be able to high-point balls, and, it's not a knock on D.D. Westbrook. He's just not the kind of receiver that can get that ball, and, if you give it to Allen Robinson, he's going to go up and snag that, you know what I mean? And there have just been so many circumstances this year where, if we just had that dynamic wide receiver number 1 on our offense, like, I just feel like we could have added a whole new dimension to this team, because we do have some nice pieces at receiver. You have our deep ball threat Keelan Cole. You have D.D. Westbrook. He's really coming into his own at receiver, and I like our young core wide receivers, but you see teams like around the NFL, like Tom Brady has his go-to guy, and Gronkowski, and even like Brandon Cooks. You have Drew Brees being able to give it over to Michael Thomas. You have Matt Ryan with Julio Jones. You have Ben Roethlisberger with Antonio Brown. Jameis Winston with Mike Evans. I mean, you look around and you see these teams that have, these big receiving options that are really good, like go-to guys that you want to give the ball to in clutch time. But, what receiver on the Jaguars this year would you want to give the ball to when, you need a guy to go to and, like, catch the ball? You know what I mean? Like, like we had some nice pieces at receivers, but we don't have that go-to guy, and I very well think that Allen Robinson makes that D.D. Westbrook catch, but, it was so well guarded, and D.D. Westbrook just doesn't have the physical traits to be able to get that, so, Allen Robinson, that's definitely a priority for me this year to re-sign, and, like with the future of this whole, like, channel and everything, honestly, there's, like, so many things to talk about in the offseason. Like, as much as it sucks that we are in the offseason, I love, like, the NFL offseason just because, the NFL, the way you build a team and the way you build a winner is awesome. Like, I love the way it is with the NFL. Like, I mean, if you look at baseball, you know, you have teams like the Yankees and like Red Sox that have so much more money than every other team, so they can just outspend people for players. You know, you have the NBA where you just have these teams, load them up with superstars and, you know, make them contenders while, you know, 80% of the NBA just sucks and has no chance, you know. In the NFL, you know, you build, it's so unique how you build it because with this, like, it's just the ultimate way to build a team. You know, you have new teams rising every year. You know, you don't just put one player on a team and he controls the whole entire team. Even though it sometimes seems like that if you have a good quarterback, but you know what I mean. Like you know, you have free agency that comes about. You have the draft, and you know, I love the draft, and just you know, the NFL offseason. It's super interesting to really follow. You know, you have March coming up soon with free agency, April coming up with the draft, and you know, May you have OTAs, and like before you know it, the training camp starts back up in July. So it's really fun how the way the NFL calendar works. And yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we're going into the offseason without any kind of AFC championship or Super Bowl championship. But you know what I mean? We do have a team that's built to, you know, really be able to be contenders the next few years. And, you know, a lot of people talk about how the Jaguars have a window to win. You don't necessarily have like a window to win. If you draft well every year, like if you draft key players, then you're going to be good for the long haul. You know what I mean? So if we can keep our draft picks and draft some good guys, you know, every year. I mean, you look back and we've had some really good drafts. You know, in 2014 draft, you know, we got guys like Allen Robinson, Telvin Smith, Brandon Linder, you know, Aaron Colvin. Just you know, we got some really good players that we were able to kind of build around. You can even throw Blake Bortles in there if you want to. You know, 2016 draft, that has to go down as one of the best drafts, you know, top 3 round drafts in you know, probably NFL history. I mean, granted, you didn't get a quarterback, but Jalen Ramsey, Miles Jack, Yannick Ngakoue. I mean, can you name 3 better cornerstones for a team? But you know, all that's cool. But you know, there's definitely a lot coming up with this channel. I'm just, you know, I gotta take a little bit just to get over this loss, man, because I'm still in pain from it. You know, I still hate that we lost. I hate looking around at, like, you know, the NFL and just seeing that we're no longer the talking point. You know, they're talking about like Super Bowl and crap. You know, I log on to freaking Facebook and I have all these armchair GMs acting like they know shit, and you know, that's all driving me nuts. And you know, I'll have a lot of good stuff coming up on this channel. This Saturday, I'm going to some Pro Bowl festivities, so I'm gonna bring my GoPro there and do some vlogging. So that'll be a lot of fun. And yeah, I mean, I appreciate all you guys for, you know, watching me throughout this year. You know, I'll keep this YouTube channel going as long as I can, just because you know, I love the Jaguars. The Jaguars are my #1 passion in life. I mean, there's really nothing I love more than the Jaguars, honestly. Like, I just love the team. And, you know, I love the NFL, love football. So, yeah, I'm gonna keep it going. So, you know, thanks to you guys all for watching. You know, it's been a fun 2017 NFL season. So, you know, this video, just like, I was just talking, man. I haven't made a video in a while. I don't really feel like recapping what the hell happened in a Patriots game, just because I don't want to revisit that crap. And, you know, I'm just hoping for better next year. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I mean, we're a good team. You know, we don't have to go into next year, you know, hoping to get 6 wins. You know what I mean? Like, it's been a rough time, and it's been a fun season, you know? So, with all that said, signing out. You see at Jaguar here, JinJag.com. Let's get this.